Well, alright. What's going on, guys? GMAX TV here playing BTD6. Now, full disclosure, just look at my thing. Once this finally loads. Yeah, I've played this game for a while. Accumulated about less than 2 years to get all this done. I'll say that much. Huh? Friend code? There it is. And yes, they changed it, so instead of a black border, it's a gold border, but because I'm on mobile. But I was watching something, and I'm just gonna play it as I'm screwing around. Hopefully it's like loud enough. Also got myself a snack. Some cold fish.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show that we back up weekly on various outdated forms of physical media just to start a creepypasta in 20 years.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
I cannot tell you how excited I am for today's episode. Oh man, this is a good one. This is a very good one. This is Ben Drown, but
Ben Drown was a good creepypasta.
If Accounting Plus actually had a solution.
I don't know what that is.
But it's playable and it has a narrative that actually makes sense. And best of all, it is still ongoing. This is a mystery that you can play right after watching this video and help solve. It is so cool. It is so well put together. Can you tell that I'm excited about this one? Because, oh man, am I excited about this one. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the mystery of the long-lost N64 game, Catastrophe Crow. YouTube's latest creepypasta ARG sensation. Alright, sensation might be too strong of a word. YouTube's latest criminally underrated masterpiece that I hope today we can help make a sensation, because let me tell you, it deserves it.
You can barely hear this with a headphone.
Be a little less on the theory side and a little more of an invitation to join this mystery hunting community as they try to solve one of the cleverest games I have ever had the pleasure of playing. And note that today we're only really scratching.
Alright, so what I'm watching right now is not the actual video. Some guy on YouTube had Class 1A from My Hero Academia. Never seen it. I'm ready for someone to shoot me. Has Class 1A from My Hero Academia react to Game Theory's Catastrophe Crow 64. I'm not telling you the name because you can just Google it. But there's a ton of things that I feel like make sense in this episode, so I'm just going to keep watching it.
The surface of a mystery that already has itself a 76-page Google Doc going over the evidence, not to mention a 26-page sub-document going over all the evidence from just one source alone.
That's some Midoriya level taking notes.
The mystery of Crow 64. I'll warn you that the Crow 64 mystery deals with some mature and disturbing topics. So
I've seen a dead body before.
Our internet story today begins with the criminally overlooked creator.
Alright. I'm gonna get some water. Alright, I had to get some water.
They're named Adam Butcher, who does the thing that's the instant death of any YouTube channel. He makes quality content.
By that he means the stuff is very good, but the algorithm is like, nope.
The algorithm is like, nope. One part game designer, one part filmmaker. Each video on Adam's channel is completely different. From the story of a game that took him 13 years to make, to his most famous work, the popular Internet Story, where he tells the tale of a vlogging mystery hunter and his connection to a mysterious death out in the fields of the UK. It's a 9-minute video that has better story.
Wait, what?
And pacing than most movies you will watch.
You can only close it.
Down below in the description, along with a lot of other links, because there's a lot that you're going to want to follow after this one, my friends. Anyway, it's his latest video that I want to focus on today. A video uploaded back in October titled What Happened to Crow 64. In this video, Adam acts like your typical retro game review channel and covering a piece of lost media. Think channels like Vicarous or Gaming Historian. In this case, he stumbled across the development cartridge for the unreleased N64 game, Catastrophe Crow. And just as a reminder here, this is just like Petscon. This undiscovered game was never really a game that was meant to exist.
Yes.
It was created for the purpose of being in this creepypasta. I bring this up because it can get kind of confusing when you're talking about fake histories of fake games as though they're real. So the game was fake, it was never meant to to be it's all for this story. Well, it was a fake game, but now it's a...
Yeah, it makes sense why they would need a 76-page Google document about it.
Catastrophe Crow was the brainchild of the successful developer
Manfred Lorenz,
and his company,
Opus Interactive.
Despite looking a lot like a clone of Super Mario 64, Lorenz promised...
I've never played 64, but I really want to.
New features never before seen in a video game.
The team promised fearless exploration and something groundbreaking called an eternal revival system. Probably just a bad translation.
A quote eternal revival system.
Sorry,
his alarm.
Causes Manfred's home life to completely fall apart. He starts spending all his time at work and asks his developers to create weird, unexplained assets. Then one day, Manfred disappears, alongside all the company's hardware. His boat is later found floating off the German coastline. The only thing left behind is a mysterious goodbye note written in German, alongside a...
Oh my god, my cat is outside my door.
After years of Catastrophe Crow being lost to history, Adam seems to have found himself a copy on eBay. He ends his historical retrospective with some of the public's first look at gameplay from this long-lost game. And oh man, this is where the puzzle solving really begins. As Adam plays through Catastrophe Crow, things start off like your typical platformer. Grassy landscapes, simple shapes, bright colors, but he quickly finds himself in a secret area that includes a crow typing on a computer with some weird things to say.
HWQHTROEE. I swear to God, that's everyone when they first wake up in the morning.
After that, a cutscene of a house plays before the player is brought back to the first area of the game.
Oh.
Now, things replay, but slightly differently. The sign on the workplace has gone out, and a weird scarecrow stalks the player character from afar, only to disappear when he's approached. After failing to answer a ringing phone, Adam runs through a glitched section of the wall, behind which is this animation of a crow holding computer equipment jumping off a boat.
Representation.
Manfred Lorenz, his disappearance, a lost boat, the stolen computer equipment, it's easy to make the connection that this is likely a recreation of what happened to Manfred. Now, for the player...
Yeah. So something happened in his life which caused him to jump off of... Something happened in Manfred Lorenz's life which caused him to jump off of a boat. I think his child died or something. I don't remember. But I want to point something out as I'm watching this. But I'll point it out later.
Where they can find an old crow crying over what appears to be a grave labeled Crow. Except the headstone is actually...
The grave is labeled Crow. I swear doing this with a 5-year-old in your house is hard. Doing this in your house with a 5-year-old is hard, but either way, the gravestone that the guy was talking about is labeled Crow. And it's shaped like an N64 cartridge. Now, I want to point that out. Now, I want to go back to that after he points something out that's later, so I'm just going to finish watching it.
Cartridge. The grave isn't even the creepiest part, though, as when Adam tries to leave the site, we hear the phone ringing again before his character falls down a flight of stairs, causing all kinds of trippy imagery to appear, including a brain scan and the arrival of two
and you're dead.
figures come to take the...
Oh my god, it's having a spaz. Oh my god. Should I be laughing at that? Like, I feel like I should not be laughing at that while you see a video game character have a spasm.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny. It's like they fall down. It's like a cartoon when you fall down a flight of stairs and they start having a spasm as they're falling down the stairs. It's hilarious. Like, and children falling down are hilarious. I'm very glad that if you go to the subreddit for children falling over, you don't get any of the follow-up because it's probably the children just freaking wailing after they just get knocked up.
And while I'm almost 100% sure that this is a coincidence, I do find it interesting as I make this that the timestamp for that image just so happens to be at
time equals 666.
Not yet, but maybe in Catastrophe Crow. The video ends with a
Nice joke.
of an older crow walking into the bedroom of a younger crow before these disturbing events play out.
A headless crow. Wait a minute. Wait. the older crow that was walking into the room had glasses on, and in the animation, in the episode that I'm watching, with the video that is stated, or if you go to Adam Butcher's YouTube channel, you see that Manfred Lorenz has glasses on, but his eye color is obviously hidden because, yes, it is stupid like that. But either way, it's interesting to point out the fact that that crow has glasses and Manfred also has glasses, meaning that that older crow with glasses has to be Manfred in some case.
While the room fills with water.
Oh yeah, and the headless crow is kept on life support, but then the place just fills with water for whatever the hell reason.
More monsters steal the crow into the blackness.
I'm kidding.
Pretty clear interpretation for all this.
Manfred's child falls dead now flies.
Which gives them
Yeah, I can't speak.
Hence the brain scan and the headless crow hospital bed.
That makes sense. Manfred gets the call.
While he's at work, which is why the phone sound effect is so prominent throughout these scenes.
Yeah.
He doesn't answer it, which is why the phone can't be answered.
Either that.
By the memory of that phone call, which is why the phone never stops ringing.
Yeah.
Also, probably a lot of guilt associated with the fact that he wasn't there for the kid. Hence, all of this happening while it's in an office building.
That makes sense, I guess.
Injury, he changes the game that his company was working on to include an eternal revival system to keep his child alive in some way.
I'm kidding.
As evidenced by the monsters which causes Manfred to off the deep end, literally.
Yeah.
After realizing that he couldn't actually bring the kid back to life, he takes all of his hardware out into the middle of the ocean
and jumps off a boat.
Now, that alone would be a really cool way to tell the story, making a fake game to make a fake retrospective to tell a creepy and tragic tale of loss. But believe it or not, there is so much more here. You know those iceberg meme charts that
I love those iceberg meme things. It's so true.
Adam video is only the tip of the iceberg. Adam was
That's kind of weird, if I'm being honest. The fact that it's only the start.
Seems like he planted 5 sister channels, each with one video of a
Oh, not start. Start.
Followed by one or more videos of catastrophe crow gameplay.
I want to get like a submarine brigade right here, real quick.
Channels that are known to be canonical entries in the series are Adam Butcher, N64 Long Lost Lore, 90s Retro Gaming Fred, N64 Excavation Man, Childhood Memories 64, and Ultra 64 Forever. And it was here on these other channels that we started to get the necessary hints to start solving clues left behind in Adam's original video. For instance, what about that weird coded language?
HWQHT row. ROE, not W, not ROW. Yeah, if you know what a pause screen is, it's like help, options, save and quit, resume. Later, the pause screen is scrambled.
This fairly simple substitution cipher turns out to be something the community dubbed
crow language.
And it can be used to decipher many of the puzzles.
So, I'm gonna read this real quick. A is W, B is V, C is N, D is X, E is O, F is B, G is Z, H is R, I is H, J is M, K is Y, L is E, M is Q, N is T, O is L, P is U, Q is F, R is I, S is A, T is C, U is G, V is J, W is S, X is P, Y is K, and Z is D. So if you were to translate anyone's name in crow language and then write it down and then figure out how to reverse it, then you would technically get someone's name. If that is how the freaking originality works. Which I'm going to assume that that's how it works. But what you can do is that when you see something scrambled, you need to translate every single letter, figure out what it is behind that, and then you get certain things. So if I were to translate my name into crow, that would be X, W, J, H, X. And then reversing that would just give me my name, which makes sense. H is I, W is A, Q is M, H T is N, and H E L L. Oh my god! Maybe the Mephisto joke that he made earlier was actually more on the nose. Facts. Just like writing about these universes. I'm not kidding with the hell incarnate thing. That's actually kind of true. Working on a game is hell incarnate because it takes so long. I don't know from experience, but I do know that it takes forever.
Crow language gets used a lot throughout the mystery. For instance, in the video titled Underground Level,
Underground Level.
Memory 64 channel, we get a classic spell something out in the ground and the letter lights up in a different colored puzzle.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Out of Banjo-Kazooie back in the day. Except here, what you're spelling out doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Yo-yo, wow, Bloons, mojo, whoa, blue, crow, buckle. It's not German, not Swedish, it's Crow. Using the Crow language cipher, you get the phrase, please forgive me.
Both of you.
Oh boy, we're getting serious now.
Either he's asking for his wife or his kids if he had any.
Every letter has an associated sound, meaning that what seemed just like one puzzle solved via Crow language
Has another meta puzzle.
alphabet that we could use. One where sound
I guess that makes sense why they needed a 76-page Google Doc to figure out what the hell you were supposed to do.
code began. Opus Interactive, Manfred's fake game company, had one other project they were working on, a game titled
Ocean Quest for the S. Oh, I was about to say SNES. I'm an idiot.
Adam's original video on a fake game
Super Nintendo. Oh, that's. Oh. I think an SNES and Super Nintendo are the same thing. I don't know. I don't care.
magazine article talking about catastrophe Crow. Here in the text we see, quote, this will be the first N64
Outing from Opus Interactive, a German developer helmed by the director Manfred Lorenz, whose actions adventure Ocean Quest was a surprise late hit for the SNES.
Searching for Ocean Quest on YouTube, you find one video from the N64.
I like how it's just a video and nothing else.
It's very chill, right? Well, something that the channel Jonathan Rose Lyon noticed.
I do love how mellow games can be. But the fact that they're that mellow is actually kind of concerning. Because you'd think that something would happen. And then when nothing happens, it throws you off. It's like playing a freaking horror game and you know you're gonna get killed, but then you don't get killed. Or what the hell was it? There was a glitch when Jacksepticeye was playing Five Nights at Freddy's 4 where Bonnie had killed him the exact same moment he died, and he moved on to the second night, meaning that was a bug at the time because Scott for some reason released his games early. FNAF 4 is supposed to set on one date, he changed it and then gave the full version for no damn reason.
On YouTube was that the song starts with a 26-note ascending sequence. 26 notes for 26 letters. Later in the song, you have little riffs like this. So what Jonathan did was extract those notes, match them to the tones from the beginning of the song, and translated them to the following.
Thea, Nils, Marta, Manfred, thanks for playing.
Can you see why this is such a cool puzzle and why I am so excited to be talking about this? And this gives us our key players and their names. Remember that decoded message from earlier said, forgive me.
Both of you.
But our initial interpretation.
Either he's talking about his wife, either he's talking about Marta and Nils, Marta, Thea and Nils, or like, yeah. I'm slightly confused. Alright, Max. Yeah, it's either I'm kind of confused on why it's saying please forgive me, both of you, when he's talking about 3 different people. I guess it makes sense depending on who he's talking to, but then again, I don't know who he's talking about. Or 2.
Events of Crow 64 only had Manfred and his kids.
Yes.
This year, well, based on the Ocean Quest audio, it seems like we have our cast of characters. Manfred, our protagonist.
Manfred is the dad, daughter, son, and mother.
This is also supported by clues elsewhere in history. Thea's name also comes from a splash screen which appears for just a moment when booting up the game. The first line reads that, which
XOWIOAC Crow.
Of course, is Crow language that translates to my dearest Thea. And funny enough, Thea translates directly into Crow.
Yeah, exactly. Thea translates directly into Crow using the Crow language. So my interpretation is that the game is called Catastrophe Crow, meaning that the actual game is Catastrophe is Thea 64. You're playing as Thea when she died because of the accident that had happened when she fell down a flight of stairs. That would make sense. That would make sense if it wasn't so confusing. But frick you, notifications. Yeah, it makes sense because an old crow was crying over a gravestone labeled Crow. And interestingly enough, when using the substitution cipher for Crow, it spells out Thea, just like Matt Pat pointed out. Meaning that that gravestone where the crow is crying over, it could either be Manfred or Marta. But because the crow didn't have glasses and it was a hat, that means that it was Marta crying over her daughter's grave. Meaning that when you're playing the game, you're playing as Thea's traumatic experiences, and Manfred and all of her other family members are there. Manfred is kept in purgatory, which is why he's kept in a glitched section typing on a computer. His hell was the fact that he neglected to take care of his child. So he's always so focused on the game. So he's so focused on the game, he can't focus on anything else. Which is why he says, I am in hell. He keeps typing on the computer because his hell is being trapped in work, hearing a phone call repeating over and over and over again, because either he's haunted by the memory of the phone call, which is why the phone ringtone still happens, or he's haunted by the fact that he wasn't able to answer the phone because of his work. Now obviously when there is a call, you have to take it, even if you're doing something, which is why you tell everyone that you'll be right back. Meaning that Manfred told people what happened and quit his job early so that he can deal something. So the reason why the game is called Crow 64 or Catastrophe Crow is because you're playing as Thea. And then you don't really see the other crow, but that's my entire interpretation, because Thea translates directly into crow, which is, yes, kind of weird and a little disconcerting when you think about it. But the game has a thing called an eternal revival system, quote, bad translation, when it was literally a thing to keep Manfred's child alive, which worked. He was in the game, he went off the deep end because the game got lost, and then everything went screwy after that.
Using Crow language, which is one very strong indication who this game was originally for.
Yep.
You can also confirm Martin's name from that farewell letter to Martin before he disappeared off on the boat. But now we get to theory country, my friends, because I and most of the community have noticed that there are 4 different Crow avatars appearing throughout all the gameplay videos, each representing a different member of the family. The large crow with glasses is the father Manfred. The other large crow is the mother Marta. The small crow with a bandage, who serves as the primary player character, is Thea, and the other smallest crow is her brother Nim.
See, he said the primary character was the small crow with the cast. Thea would most likely have a cast, considering the fact that she fell down a flight of stairs. But my theory is that Thea didn't actually die. Thea, when flying down stairs, when the brain scan happened, they were trying to make sure that nothing happened. But it begs the question, why does the crow avatar, who is probably Thea, have a cast on its arm instead of its head when it fell down a flight of stairs? But thinking about it, it makes sense. When Thea fell down the stairs, she did hit her head, but she broke her arm, which is why there's a cast on her arm. Meaning that she made the eternal revival system for no damn reason. And instead, because Thea died right after, because when that happened, her brain could actually get really susceptible to... So she fell downstairs when she was young. She fell downstairs before... She fell down a flight of stairs before falling down another flight of stairs. Hence why she has a cast on her arm. Then, she fell downstairs, injured her arm, and it still needed to heal. She fell back down the flight of stairs, tried to catch herself with her arm, but used the one that sucked. Eventually, hitting her head too hard, because when she hit her head once, it didn't do anything bad. It fractured her skull a little. So they needed to make sure that things didn't happen. So, because Thea was a smart kid, she did like doing outdoor activities, she said that she could, but she couldn't do things that have to involve either catching or things that have to do with your head, because then that can screw her over. And again, this is just an interpretation, that's not actually it, but it could make sense if this is the universe. But Anyway, Manfred and Marta decided to not let her do any sports activities because of that brain damage. Eventually, she fell back down another flight of stairs, fracturing her skull in the same place, meaning that they had to take another brain scan, which rendered her as dead, which is why the headless crow is there. The monster taking away symbolizes her death. He did so at the beginner's thing. I thought actually no. Thinking about it, you would think that he would make the eternal revival system for no damn reason, but he did, because the first time he got the phone call was that Thea fell down a flight of stairs. Hence, which is why the phone call was so important, because he was haunted by the fact that Thea could fall down another flight of stairs, which is why whenever there's a phone call, he asks who it is, because he wants to make sure that it's not the doctor calling Manfred about Thea, because he doesn't want the exact same thing to happen again, which could happen. A lot of parents can get paranoid when something happens, like if a child falls down like freaking 10 flights of stairs. But all jokes aside, that could probably be why Manfred is haunted by the phone, because he's scared that something would happen again. And when it did happen again, Manfred didn't answer the phone. And when eventually Marta told him that he didn't answer, maybe he's busy with work, why he couldn't answer the phone, he's haunted by the phone calls because all he remembers is that the phone calls were a bad thing, and he also knew that it had to do with Thea's death. Eventually, when Thea died, something had happened in Manfred's life which caused him to jump off of a boat, taking all of the supplies that they used to make Catastrophe Crow, went off the deep end, quite literally, and then bing bang boom, here you are. Yep, my theory is that Thea fell down flights of stairs when she was younger but 4, which is probably why she has an arm cast. But, interestingly enough, she still has the arm cast on for whatever reason. She still has the cast on because it needs to heal properly. Eventually, she fell down another flight of stairs, breaking her brain entirely. Marta and Nils came, but Manfred couldn't because he was so caught up with work and he didn't want to answer the phone. Because whenever there was a phone call, he had it to where someone else would answer all of his calls for him, which eventually screwed him up in the end, because he shouldn't have done that. He should have answered all of his phone calls. Eventually, he went to hell for not being there for the kid. And his hell is continuing to hear that phone call, working on his game, and not being able to leave his office. Which would make sense given the freaking plot, but then thinking about it, no. But yeah, when that happened, Manfred left Catastrophe Crow for Nils and Marta to play. Eventually, there were 2 places that had to be done: a birthday and a place. And I bet what it is that considering the fact that Manfred Lorenz can probably be in his 30s to 30s, his early 30s to late 40s, same thing with Marta, that would mean that their children would probably be around their infant and their teenage years, from 0 to 13. And considering the fact that Thea is taller than Nils, that could mean that Thea is the older sister, Nils is the younger brother. Meaning that Nils can probably be about 8 years, meaning that Nils can probably be about 6 to 8 years old, and Thea can probably be about, what the hell am I thinking of? About like 8 to 10 years old, considering that she is slightly taller than him. Either that or they are literally the same age, and I'm just an idiot. But either way, that's what I think. And I want to finish this, so I'm just going to keep watching it and shut my mouth. I'm going to lower this. I'm going to lower this now. I'm going to lower this now, solely because now that I have my theory out, if anyone ever sees this is on the Crow64 subreddit, please point it out. Because I feel like it definitely has to do with the fact that Thea fell downstairs twice. That probably happened when she was about 10, which is why Manfred was haunted by the damn phone call. But either way, that's just my interpretation. Crap. But I think that is it, because I almost just died. I still need to, there's an Easter event going on in BTD6. They also released a new update, the Vortex. From the skies comes the Vortex Boss Bloon. This guy was in the original, was in the first BTD game, as well as Monkey City. They updated hero menu and added a new guy, Geraldo the shopkeeper. You buy stuff off of this guy to do stuff for you, which is interesting. But anyway, that's it. Hope you guys enjoy. Leave like, comment, subscribe. Want to get at least like, I don't know, 100 or maybe 10 by the end of spring break. But, goodbye. Blah,